Hey Adventurers, so today is just going to be another quick review. This is going to be for The Emperor's Soul by Brandon Sanderson. This is of course one of his Cosmere novellas. This is fantasy, as most of Sanderson's works are. It's got a lot to do with art, which is kind of really cool and probably one of my favorite aspects of the book, and yeah, it's a novella. So before I get into the main body of my review here though, I'd just quickly like to say if you like what you're seeing from an Erudite adventurer, we'd really appreciate it if you would like, comment, and subscribe. Alright, so The Emperor's Soul is considered by many to be one of Sanderson's greatest works. This book follows a young woman named Shei, I believe, based on how the language of this world works. And Shei is a forger. That means that she has the knowledge and ability to craft stamps that change the perception of an object. That means the perception of the object is both how you perceive the object and how the object perceives itself. And I'm not really going to get into the magic of this story too much more, but it's really cool and really interesting. In this story she is captured but then tasked with the probably impossible task of recreating the soul of the Emperor, and I'm going to leave that there for the story overview, whatever that's called. I can't think of what the word is that I'm looking for, so I'm going to leave that there. But this story is set on the world of Sel, which is the same world as Elantris. When I started reading the book, I knew that this was the case and that this was set on the same world as Elantris. But I didn't really think about that, and so as I was reading, I kept thinking, man, this feels so much like Elantris. And it was, when I was thinking that, I was meaning, of course, the magic system felt like the Aeon Door from Elantris, but also the world felt very similar to Elantris. Not so much the story, obviously, because it's a very different story. But then as I would think those things, I was like, oh wait, that's because it is the same world as Elantris. So there's really is a lot to like in this book. The magic system is very cool, and based on what we know from Elantris, it fits very nicely into this world. Shei is also a very interesting character, to me at least, and Sanderson portrays her as an artist, and obviously there's more to her than just her being an artist, but one of the major aspects of her is that she is an artist. And he does, as he usually does, he portrays this very well. I'm not that type of artist. What people generally think of as an artist is being able to paint or draw or things like that, and I'm not that way. That's unfortunately, as much as I'd like to be able to do some of that, I don't take the time to learn, and I don't have a ton of just natural talent in that area as it is, and so I haven't pursued it as much as other areas. But I am a musician, and I'm an actor, and I'm a storyteller, and seeing all those things, they're still considered an artist. I'm still considered an artist in that way. And through that, I can understand the mindset of Shei quite a bit. The pride you take in your work, but also the frustration that it is not as good as you want it to be. The knowledge that you can do better, but also at the same time the need to do something different, either to practice or to take a break from that primary work, just to get away from kind of get out of your own head in many ways, because you know you can do better, but you are struggling to do better, and it's hard to describe, but there's that mindset. I know that mindset. I've run into that myself. And so all of those things are portrayed through Shei's character, and I feel like they're done pretty well. I don't know if this is just something that I read into the character because I'm an artist and I look at myself as an artist, or if it is something that he blatantly wrote into the character. I suspect he probably intentionally wrote it into the character, but I don't know if it's as noticeable to someone who wouldn't consider themselves an artist as it was to myself. All that being said, and as good as a lot of this book was, I didn't find this book to be or this novella, I guess, to be as engaging as some of his other works. It was good, don't get me wrong, I thought it was good and it was interesting, but I really can't say that it was my favorite of his works by any means. I have pretty different opinions on a lot of Sanderson's works, like things like Secret Project number 2. I really liked Secret Project number 2, whereas Secret Project 1, which is the one that everybody else really likes, I thought was okay. I loved the world, but the story was not particularly my favorite. So I have pretty drastically different opinions in some places, and some just not quite as strong opinions in other places about Sanderson's works, and that's definitely what what it was with this one. I don't feel like it's one of his greatest works. I think it's one of his better works for sure, but I don't think it's, I mean, to me, Mistborn Era 1 is peak Sanderson, and Stormlight 1 and 2, so Way of Kings and Words of Radiance, are peak Sanderson, and then that's kind of, there's not much else that is as good as those are, in my opinion. So while it was enjoyable to read, it was not my favorite, but at the same time, most people will probably really like it a lot more than I did, just because I have different opinions in the way that I view Sanderson and the books that I like by Sanderson. So that is my review for The Emperor's Soul, short and sweet, and hopefully kind of gives you a different look on the book, because everybody else seems to love it a lot more than I do. I don't hate it by any means. I thought it was good. I just wasn't as enthralled by it as a lot of people seem to be. So I'm going to leave it there. Thank you guys for watching an Erudite Adventure. We post videos every Monday and Thursday, and our social media is linked in the description down below. We will see you guys again soon. Stay warm.